Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is gonna be the last video of Bobstown for now. I am gonna finish this off by building some more farms in this area, maybe a big farm here, and then over where it connects to the next city that I'm gonna build, I'll maybe also add some farms. So it's a bit of a farm building episode. Yeah, some of you might not like it, I guess, but yeah, it's just that this general area didn't really feel finished yet, so I wanted to give it a bit more consistency than it currently has. So I'm gonna put some small farms around here, and I want, because I have some small farms here, and I know in the neighboring city, in Predator, where we started off this whole region, I also have some small farms, and I think this whole area is just gonna be a lot of small farms. So in order to get some small farms around here, I think what I want to do is at least split this road off, and I think what I actually want to do is try to get those farms to spawn with the building next to the rail, so that they can use the rail for their freight. So how I might achieve that is by doing something like this maybe, and then connect it over here. So I'll put a farm like that, and I think I'll do another one of those, maybe something like that. So they're gonna be a little bit bigger than these farms, maybe. I'm not sure yet. Let's just see how the shapes grow out. So I'm holding shift here to prevent that street that you just saw. The game wants me to place from being placed. And I think I'll do maybe a bit more of this shape. Why not? Then over here, I guess we might do something like this, and let's have two farms there, and I'm keeping these extra spaces for some trees and some fences maybe. I think I'll do some fences in this general area, and maybe let's have this one be a bit bigger, and then have one over here. And yeah, I don't think you need fences near the water. And let's just do it like this. There's a bit of an open area, so I'll put some trees there to decorate that. So I think this will be the general layout. I'm trying to go a bit fast because of course I'm doing live recording, as you can see probably. I think these are the other fences. And now I have to remember where, oh yeah, they were in the miscellaneous transit menu. And this menu got quite cluttered, so you see me scroll for a little bit. Yeah, it looks like these are fences. No, those are the transit enabled, and yeah, these are fences. Okay, so I have this fence. Let's just plop them down, because yeah, let's give you an idea of what we're looking at. So this is a standard wooden fence. This is one with the gates. So there's gates for these as well. Though the gates, they don't cross over a road, it seems. While the other set that I have does have that little aspect. So I don't think I'll use the gates. I'll just assume there's... okay, so these are the white fences, and there's also some barbed wire fences, which are these. There's a little icon that shows you in the menu, so once you're a bit familiar with this mode, it shouldn't be too tricky to figure out what you're trying to use. So I think I'll face the fences inwards for this one at least, and then look for a way to transition, because this one's gonna have another fence. It's gonna go around like that. I'm not sure if I want a barbed wire fence there. Well, I can't really do a transition unless... Yeah, okay, I can do that. So let's do that. I didn't say what I was gonna do, but I'm just gonna show it because it's gonna take me too many words. And I could have put it down like 4 times already before I'm done explaining. Yeah, something went wrong. It rotated again. So I'm gonna have to fix that, but I'm just gonna, because I selected these already, I'm just gonna go like this and make this all white fenced, and I'm just gonna put a corner here too, and then maybe transition into brown fences for that one or something like that. I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit. Yeah, that one was next to a road, so I moved my mouse just the smallest amount, and that caused it to want to face the road again. Now I'm not moving the mouse. Okay, yeah, sometimes when you click it I guess when you click it makes the mouse move the smallest amount, and that's enough for the game to think that you wanted to move it. Yeah, I think I'll do this one in white as well. Okay, I don't have to use a corner because no, let's just do this one because this one's right next to the farmland, so let's just do it like that. I'm just going with the flow a bit, and maybe along this road I'll keep a bit of extra space for some decorations, and I wanted to use the brown one for the rest of this, so here's the brown one, and I'm gonna make it have a smooth a smooth corner there. If I have that for the brown fences, it doesn't look like I do, because these do have smooth corners, but it doesn't look like I do. But what I can do is just use a diagonal as a bit of a corner. I think that looks a little bit more interesting. Okay. And there's something to be said about putting the fences down before you build your roads, because then the roads can't really derp out your rotations. But yeah, in this case they actually helped, because that was the right rotation that I was looking for. So I have a white fence here and here, a brown fence a bit over here, so I'll do this one in a brown fence as well, because why not? And let's do it the same way, just mirror that and make it like that, and then yeah, I'll just go straight there. And yeah, I'm not sure if this is the best way to design your okay, yeah, it was near a road. I'm just gonna put the rest of these down and then fix that one. So these fences aren't necessary. They don't really do anything for the game. This might be annoying if it derps out, but it okay, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, so these fences are just for decorations. They don't really they might do something for land value, I guess. And I think I'll actually use a corner here. I could have kept it like that. I don't want to, I want this. Yes. So let's go. Let's do some white ones over there, why not? Yeah, so these fences might have a bit of a land value effect. I don't know really what the modder did with these fences exactly. I haven't taken the time to study it in such a way. And here I'm debating. Yeah, I think I'll do these in this direction. Yeah, so when it doesn't derp out, it's a lot easier. And I think this is just gonna be part of this farm. So I'm just gonna put a diagonal, or maybe two. Let's do one and do one over there as well. And let's just do barbed wire this time. Why not? So, yeah. It might be a bit weird that I'm alternating these. Yeah, we were gonna put it like next to the road and use a diagonal there. You could also do something like this, like a random little bite out of the farmland. Maybe put a bit of a bus stop there or whatever if you want to use buses. But I'm not really using buses in this city. I maybe should be using buses, because I was using buses in other city in this region, in Prelude, but I'm not using it in this one. And I think I'll use some white fences, because they have the nice little bend over there. And let's just do this whole block in white fences and see if they maybe have an interesting transition for over there. And I don't know what this is supposed to do. Yeah, it looks weird. Yeah, I don't know, I can't really figure out what that is supposed to be for. There's also a smaller bend. Oh, okay, that goes a bit more straight. Yeah, so there isn't like a double bend, but I guess you could make it like this. Yeah, I'm just trying to make new shapes that I haven't seen before. And that is a shape that I didn't build yet, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. And over here I'm gonna do another bend. And same thing over in this area. And this one is like that. So I'm just gonna... I started by shaping out the farms. Now I'm just doing some fences for decoration. I'm not doing fences along the rails, which is unrealistic, but the fences would block the farms from being able to connect with the rail in terms of freight traffic, and I kind of wanted to see that, so it's a bit of a sacrifice in terms of realism. But there is the chance that this is going to be a 4x4 building, and the buildings of the farms in the SimCity agriculture mod do tend to have fences, and the ones in vanilla might also have fences. I don't know about that. Some of the farms in the SimCity agriculture mod, I'm just gonna call it spam from now on, but some of the farms in spam need water supply, so I'm just gonna make sure that I have that covered. And it appears that there's some entities here that okay, so those are only pack pond pieces, and those aren't really that important in terms of water requirement. Okay, so now I have these farms here. I'm gonna want them to grow, and in order to grow them I'm gonna have to speed up the game. Maybe I just want to plant the trees beforehand, because I kind of want to not waste too much time on things like waiting for farms to grow. So I'm just gonna try to not go absolutely nuts with these trees, which, as you can see, these trees are very sensitive. Okay, I think I'll keep that like that. but now I removed a piece of white fence, so I need a straight one, and then to rotate it. Okay, so maybe I'm just gonna very carefully click. Okay, click. Now this is not the exact same tree, it seems. Maybe it's a rotated version. Okay, I'm just gonna, because I do know there's also, these are the same. Yeah, so that's a bigger tree. Oh, it does have a bit of an issue placing trees on the fence pieces sometimes. Maybe when you're at a seam. So I'm just trying to, I move the mouse. Okay, this is just gonna be a bit of a forest, I guess. No, this just, it glitches out a bit too much for me. So I removed some fences while doing that. And I'm just gonna replace the fences. I'm doing this live build, by the way, because I don't have as much free time this week as I normally do. So I have to save time somewhere in order to get a video out. Yes, and the place where I'm gonna save time this week is in the editing of this video. So that's why I'm doing this live build, because I'm just gonna do a very light edit on this video where I just cut out some of the setup and the closing of the video, and then I'm just gonna quickly render it, and it will probably be on the YouTube tomorrow. So I already did a recording for another video, but the thing with that one is that I planned for it to be a bit of a time-lapse video. So the consequence of doing time-lapse videos is that I need to basically do an edit of the footage and speed everything up, and then I need to render it. Well, there's some inefficiency in the way I'm doing it, because I could okay, let's just first explain how I'm doing it, and then I'll explain what I could be doing faster. But for some reason I found a way that works and didn't really feel like changing it, but I think I'm gonna have to change it pretty soon, because it's just wasting a lot of time. So how I'm doing it right now is I record maybe 3 or 4 hours of footage for a time-lapse video. Sometimes it's only 2 hours, sometimes this time it was about 3.5 hours, I think. But that was just me chilling out and just casually building what is gonna be the start of the next city. And yeah, I had some ideas that I was trying out, and I think the idea might turn out pretty cool eventually, but it's probably just gonna be a bit weird in that video. But I think it's a cool idea, and it still has some areas where I can actually experiment with different ways of implementing the idea. I'm being a bit fake, I guess, but that's because it's also hard to explain exactly what the idea is, and I don't think it's nice to spoil the next episode too much. But yeah, so I did a recording of that, and the recording is 3.5 hours. Now, in order to keep me from having to edit that video for 3.5 hours, I tend to just speed up the footage right away, so it only takes me 2 hours or maybe even 1 hour to edit it, depending on how fast I made it in the first step. And then once the inefficiency comes from when I'm gonna start to prepare for doing the voiceover, because yeah, when you speed the footage up, if you would have recorded the voiceover while playing, then it's just gonna sound like some of those Disney characters, like well, they might sound different in English, but it's like not the raccoon, it's squirrels, the squirrel characters from the Donald Duck universe, I guess is what you'd call it. Yeah, so it's gonna be high pitched and annoying. So I don't want to do that, because it would be very hard for me to make a reasonable video that I would want to watch myself. And yeah, that's pretty much the first thing that I want to achieve with a video, is that I make a video that I would watch myself. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think I make videos that I would want to watch in their entirety, because they might take like 50 minutes or something, and I don't always have the time for a 50-minute video, or I might just get bored after 30 minutes in the video, and I think that's perfectly fine. If you're like that, I can totally understand, and don't feel bad about stopping the video at some point or whatever. But no, yeah, I do hope to keep these videos interesting enough, because what you're looking at might not always be super interesting, I guess, because now I'm just placing some trees. You might have seen me do that before, so I guess I'm a bit depending on the voice to keep things interesting. So if I were to have like a sped up voiceover, that would just be ridiculously stupid, I think. Though it might be funny and cool, I don't know. Okay, so I planted the trees here. This area is gonna be like this for now. I think I'll just save in case I get a crash, because it's an old game, and for some reason I do have crashes. It might just be plugins that are bad and derping each other out, I don't know. So the inefficiency in how I do these time-lapse recordings is in the fact that I have to do an extra render after I've done the first edit. And the reason for that is that when I record with the software that I'm using, okay, I have to delete these two. When I record with the software that I'm using, when I turn on the audio recording, it does show a preview of the footage, but the preview of the footage gets desynchronized with the audio. So with the audio that I record, and yeah, it just plays it slower because of frame rate issues, I guess. My computer is a bit slow, so that let's just do a bit of an area here maybe, and have like a big house next door. That's gonna be like the farmhouse, maybe over here. Just do a big farmhouse. Although I can't do a farmhouse. Okay, let's not do that. Because you can't do farmhouses next to or houses next to pet malls, and I use pet malls over there. Yeah, so the recording gets desynced, which is I had a pretty big derp with that the first time I did a recording, and it took me 2 extra hours of editing to get the voice to make sense in the end. I could have just redone the recording, and I actually did that at first, and yeah, it was still desynced, so I was just like Okay, I'm gonna have to find a better way for now at least. So I found a way that kept me from being super derped out in terms of synchronization during the recording, and it exists in me doing a full render of the video before starting the voiceover, and then just watching that render on a different video player while recording the audio with the program. Though it's a pretty dumb solution, because the better solution would be to use a secondary audio recording program to record the voiceovers, and then just import that into the video editor that I'm using and just use that. So I'm gonna be shopping for a free audio recording tool that gives you some pretty good quality. I don't need too many options, so it's probably just gonna be a super basic tool that just records the audio, and then I can always edit it in the tool that I'm using to edit videos, because it's a very powerful tool, but my computer is just, it wasn't built for this kind of stuff. So rendering and stuff like that is already pretty slow, and then there's also the fact that it's just old. I'm not gonna complain about my computer, because I'm very happy with how well it still works, and yeah, the type of games that I tend to play don't really require a much better computer. And for the computer that it was at its time, it wasn't the best of the best or anything. I didn't spend like 2,000 euros on it, but it was the best computer that I wanted to buy. Because I don't like to spend ridiculous amounts of money on hardware or stuff like that. I tend to just don't feel like it's really necessary. I'm just gonna decorate this a bit lazily, and let's think here, because I did use some decorations on the other side of this border. It might have been these. I think it was these. They look a bit weird, but I'm just gonna use them here for a little bit. So on the region screen it won't just stop in a straight line. So I'm just gonna try to make this like a bit of a triangle shape. Maybe put some plants in between, yeah, something like that. Then I'm gonna go back to the feather grass, because I do think that has a very nice beach transitional kind of look. It would look like plants that help keep the beach together and keep the sand from being blown away too much by the wind. So I'm just gonna try to spam these a bit. So I should fix my inefficiency in terms of how I do time lapses, and I think I'm gonna start to do that this weekend. But for now, it wouldn't have mattered that much, because it was still more work to do the time lapse, because the editing would probably take still an hour or two. And if I just do this recording, I will already have the voiceover, so I won't need to do that. I won't need to spend time on that, and I won't need to edit it for a time lapse and then render it. So what I'm gonna do is just record this. I hope it won't be too long. I think it won't be too long. So I've already built like half of what I said I wanted to build. I'm just gonna build other farms. And because I feel my voice being a bit, yeah, it's a bit rough today, I'm probably just gonna do a couple of big farms in the road that transitions into the next neighboring city. I'm just gonna keep this like this for now. I've done a bunch of pretty thorough coastal decorations. I'm gonna do some of that again, but not for now. I think these edges, yeah, in order to decorate the edges you need to have the farm grown already. So I'm just gonna go over here for now and think, what do I want to do with the farms? Nothing too fancy, I think. I'll try to do a bit of those organic shapes again. Maybe have like a... But I did have some issues with organic shapes and them showing those green dots. So I'll just do something like that. And instead of using fences over here, I'm just going to use trees to mark off the edges. Do one over here, something like that. Maybe it has a bit of such a shape. And then it goes a bit like this, maybe. And it does do something like that, I think. Yeah. Then do one over here. So this is an easy way to make some randomly shaped farms. Another technique that you could use is to just make a big block and then start removing it with the D-zone tool. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep this like this, like a bit straight, and then just do another one over here. That just has a bit of forest behind it. And maybe do something like this. Why not? And then there's more forest over here. I'll just do it like that. Farm over here. And I guess the forest continues on towards a bit inwards like that. Okay. So that's all of that. I'm gonna start the forest with the biggest trees that I have, which is the maple. Just gonna sprinkle them. Gonna do it pretty rough and fast because I just feel my throat getting worse and worse every time I say a word. So it's a bit of a short video probably, and I think it's alright to have some shorter videos. Some of them videos that I made were actually just too long in my opinion. I don't know if you feel the same way. You might just be alright with watching a video for 50 minutes or a bit more than an hour. In some ways the Factorio videos are the Factorio videos that I posted. It's a different game than SimCity, so it's probably gonna have a different audience. So they are still doing a bit slow. In terms of view numbers they are okay, but most of the viewers don't really watch the video, they just click it and then decide that they don't want to watch it. So I don't know, I'm gonna do a bit of a series on that regardless, just because I like the game and I want to play the game, and I think it's it should have enough of an overlap in terms of interests with SimCity, because it's a bit of a sandboxy free play kind of game. And yeah, I've never really done decorative builds in Factorio, and I think I'll try to do something like that once I reach the end game, which should be soon. Because I've already done a recording for an episode where I get yellow signs, and I've done one where I finished the game by launching a rocket. So I'm not gonna spoil the time that I got, because some of you might find that interesting, I guess, probably not, but whatever. But then once I reach the end game, I'm just gonna first of all do some experiments in terms of yeah, I'm just gonna do some experiments and try to do a new build every episode. Probably gonna do live recordings like this, but maybe do a bit of a mix where I do a live recording and sometimes just edit out some of the footage where I just don't do too much interesting stuff, and maybe do a bit of a montage of some steps that I took or whatever. I don't know what I want to do. But I'm gonna do some Factorio videos because it's my channel and I want to do some Factorio. It's a very fun game to play. Might not be as fun to watch though, but there's a bunch of viewers on Twitch and stuff like that, so some people find it interesting to watch. But it's generally the speedrunners that get the most views, I guess, because watching a speedrun means that you're seeing something develop at a watchable speed, while yeah, just watching somebody interact with chat for half an hour might be a bit boring to some people, unless you really enjoy the personality of the person. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna do some more Factorio videos, and I'm gonna try to keep them interesting and short, but not devoid of content. I don't know, it's gonna be a bit of a challenge, because it's a game where before you know it, you've been playing it for 4 hours or whatever. Though I do tend to have a pretty decent biological clock normally, but when I play Factorio, time just flies. But it's not always like that. Sometimes I just feel that I'm getting tired or something, because I don't have as much of a stamina as I used to do. So sometimes games actually tend to tire me out pretty fast, especially ones like Factorio, where you have to pay some pretty, at least the way I played it so far, is that I'm trying to do everything as fast as possible, because I've seen the whole development into launching a rocket so many times, and there's so much footage of that already for the game, by people who are probably better at doing that stuff. So I just wanted to get to the end game as fast as possible, and it took me, yeah, I think I got a pretty decent time for somebody who's not a speedrunner, but it's definitely not a world record. It's probably a personal best in terms of yeah, the times that I've set for myself. This is gonna be the end of the video. I've built all the farms and decorated them as quickly as I could. Now I'm just gonna show how they grow for a bit. The game is having some issues rendering everything. Okay, before I grow them, I'm just gonna save. And I'll do a bit of an edit where I do a bit of a time lapse, which I'm probably gonna show right now. So now you can see the farms grow. I'll do a couple of close-ups. So this is a close-up of one of them. I'm probably gonna turn on the day and night cycle to make things a bit more interesting. So here you can see the small farms grow. And now you can see the other farms that might have already grown. At this point I'm just staring at the footage when I'm personally recording it. And then, yeah, I don't know. Alright, so I'm back again. The farms aren't growing, which is probably because there's no demand, which is because I have too many jobs in this city. So what I probably want to do at some point is just get a bunch of people in here, maybe expand this. But for now, this is just gonna be the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'd like to see you again. Goodbye.